What if I told you that dating apps are not here to get you a date, they're here to make money, and lots of it. Lots of money. And the reason I'm making this video actually is that I've noticed that a lot of people, especially men, seem to forget that dating apps are not a charity. Dating apps are privately owned, publicly owned. They're here to make money, guys. That's all it is. These dating apps are for-profit companies. For profit. Especially now that dating apps is more accepted. It's not new anymore. If you keep in mind, if you remember, when Tinder first started, for example, it was one of the best apps in the world because the psychology of dating app back then, of Tinder and other apps, their focus was let's get users. Let's get users. So let's do everything in our power to get users, but also to keep users on our apps. That's why the apps were very nice back then. But now in 2024, 2025 onwards, dating apps have become very ingrained into our society, right? So it's no longer about getting users. Well, it is always, but it's not the focus, especially for the established ones. It's now more, how can we make money? How can we optimize shareholder value? How can we get, how can we get more money? Essentially, now, there's a psychology behind dating apps, and I think a lot of people miss that, particularly men. Dating apps are designed to not get you a date. They are designed to get some people some dates. Oh yeah, they are designed to get some people dates regularly, but most people, especially men, are not supposed to get dates. You are supposed to pay for it. That's how they make money. And that's the dark side of dating apps that I think it's already quite covered, but I want to give my perspective on this. Let me give you a quick insight on how dating apps actually work for men and women as well. Now, on dating apps, like most things, there's something called the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is called the Pareto rule, right? The Pareto rule. What it simply means is that 80% of your result is generated by 20% of effort. It's not a science, but it applies to a lot of things in life. It most definitely applies to dating apps. Now, on dating apps, roughly 10% of men, okay? 10% of men on dating apps get 90% of women. This is how dating apps work in general, right? 10% of men get 90% of women, period, roughly. It could be 5% of men get 95% of women. It could be 20% of men get 80% of women, but it's along these lines because most women on dating apps tend to be very picky. Tend to be very, very picky. So that means they swipe right way less than the average man because she can afford to be picky. You understand? She can afford to be picky. She can afford to be picky because on dating apps, the women are the products, men are the buyers. I know it sounds terrible, but this is the truth. For every one woman, I'll adjust my camera. For every one woman, there is 10 men chasing after her. One woman, 10 men going after her because there are more men on dating apps than there are women. And because the woman has a large number of men coming at her, swiping right on her, one woman, 10 men coming at her, she has to be picky. So if there are 10 men swiping right on one woman, the woman now will say, look, if there are 10 men coming at me, I need to pick the best. I'm going to pick the best. So there's 10 men swiping on her. She maybe is going to swipe right on 2 of those men. She swipes right. So this one woman, right? She swipes back on 2 of those men. And the 2 men she's going to swipe right on, these are going to be the best of the best of the best of the 10. So 2 men get a swipe right, 8 men get left behind. This is just the psychology. It's an oversimplification. I admit it. It's an oversimplification. But depending on how this video goes, I will do a deeper breakdown with videos, data, stats, and you will see what I'm talking about. Now, this very simple example this very simple example summarizes the psychology of dating apps. More men, few women. Of the many men that approach the woman online, she swipes on just very few of them, 1 or 2. So out of 10 men that swipe right on a woman, she only swipes right back on 1 or 2, maybe 3. Does that make sense? So that's where this is how dating apps start making their money, right? So they say to you, listen, if you're a man and you're part of the 8 men that doesn't do really well on dating apps, we have offers for you. We can offer you premium. We can offer you premium services. That's why you have things like Tinder Gold, Tinder Platinum. I think there's another one, Platinum. Is there a silver? Is there a Tinder Silver as well? I don't know. Let's just put Tinder Silver. I don't know. They've got a lot of it. Now, they then sell these options to the 8 men that struggle with dating, guys. So these men that struggle with dating now have an option to pay. They can now pay money, $10, to $5, $2, whatever it is. These men now say, oh, since I don't do really well with women without pay, maybe I'm going to pay to improve my chances with this one woman. Does that make sense? And all these premium offers, it's always tiered. It's always tiered. It's always layered. So that's one way, these dating apps make money. So if these dating apps make money from the majority of men that struggle with dating, don't you think the dating apps are going to be programmed so that those men struggle and are, inclined to pay? This is the psychology of dating apps. Now, I'm not saying dating apps are good or bad. Dating apps are just a tool. But I think a lot of people forget that dating apps are they are for profit. They're not a charity. And oftentimes, most of the popular dating apps that we know are owned by this company called Match Group. I'm going to put a picture of this company on the screen so that you can also have a look. But let's take a deeper look at Match Group so that you see what I'm talking about. Now, if you go to the website of Match.com, our company, you will see this. The brands, right? They own Tinder, they own Hinge, they own UKMatch.com, they own Meetic, they own OkCupid, they own Pairs, which is I think the Korean dating app. They own Plenty of Fish. I think that's quite popular in America. They own Azar, Chispa, BLK, and The League. These are very popular dating apps. These are very popular dating apps. Now, if you also go on the website and you click on investor relations, right? All these brands are under this company called Match Group. And if you go to investor relations, you're going to see the stock price of this company. Currently, it's $32.86. The moment you see this, you automatically know that, yes, the priority of those brands, the job of those brands is to maximize shareholder profits. They have to get as many people to pay. You have to pay for subscription. You have to pay for whatever the dating apps need to do to make money. They need to do it so that they can optimize shareholder value and look sexy to shareholders. The job of dating apps is to optimize and maximize profit. Period. That's all it is. But I don't know. Depending on how this video does, I'll make a deeper video on it and to go into the stats, into the nitty-gritties of the stats. But I wanted to give this perspective that dating apps are not here to get you a date, man. They're here to make money. Dating apps are here to get some people, very few people dates, like get them going. But the majority of people, especially men, are not meant to get dates on dating apps. You're there to be the 80%. 20%, 20% of men get the dates. The other 90-80% are going to be the ones to pay. You are the people that are going to pay with your money. You're going to pay with your data. You're going to pay with a lot of things. Because before I let you go, let's take a look at how dating apps typically make money. Okay, so if we see, one of the popular ways dating apps make money is from freemium subscriptions. Things like Tinder Plus, Tinder Gold, Tinder Platinum, Bumble Boosts and Premium, Hinge, Preferred Membership. You could also do in-app purchases, super likes, boosts, roses on Hinge. Of course, dating apps make money from advertising, but you can only make money from advertising when you have users. You understand me? Partnership and sponsorship, event hosting, and data monetization. But the bulk of their earnings come from the subscriptions, the in-app purchases. And this typically comes from the majority of people, especially men, that are struggling with dating on the app. So keep that in mind. Now, what's my solution? What am I offering you? I am offering that you should use dating apps as a supplement. I have nothing against dating apps. I've used dating apps in my life. I've had great experiences. I've had negative experiences. I've had good times. I've had bad times. I've met some fantastic people that I'm still in touch with today. Okay? But just make sure you are operating from a position of awareness and you know these things behind me, right? You know that dating apps are here to make money. And on dating apps, you have more men than women. And for every one woman on the dating app, there's 10 men approaching her. And when the 10 men are approaching that one woman, she has to pick the best. Oftentimes, one or two. You understand me? So you have to keep that at the back of your mind. And also, women on dating apps tend to be way pickier than men. So I think for every 100 profile men see, they swipe right, meaning good, 80% of the time. For every 100 profile women see on a dating app, they swipe right, I think 5%, between 3 to 5% of the time. So it's a competition, and oftentimes you have more men on dating apps than women. And a lot of women on dating apps, quite frankly, they're not there to find a date. A lot of women are on dating apps to just get validation or just to see what's out there, if that makes any sense. So even if you match with someone, if you match with a woman, there's a strong possibility she's not really there to get a date. She's just there to, see what's out there. She's not serious. There's validation to see that she's still beautiful, still attractive. And a lot of men too are just there for sex, right? So it's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. But I hope this video gives you some perspective. Like I said, leave a like, leave a comment if you would like me to make a deeper video on this. If you're happy with this, that's fine. The goal of this video is to share awareness. Thank you.